welcome to another one of our Facebook Lives. This time we're going to talk about a topic that we get a lot of questions with here at Girl Scouts of Colorado. How do you do girl-led without it going to complete chaos? And so what we're going to talk about a little bit today about is what is girl-led, what does it look like, what are some tips to kind of bringing girl-led to your troop, and how can you be really successful at it? Since we are live, if you have any questions or comments that you want to chime in, Kendi over here is going to be monitoring our chat, and I'm Emily Speck, and I am the Mission Delivery Manager here at Girl Scouts of Colorado, and
I'm Kendi Doolin, and I'm the Instructional Design Manager here at Colorado.
And so what we do a lot of is we do a lot of our training and our girl experience, and so this fits right in line. So let's just dive into it. Now in Girl Scouts we have something called the 3 processes. You might have heard this in your training, or maybe you saw something online about it. And this is the girl-led, which we're going to talk about today, learning by doing, and that cooperative learning. Now, learning by doing is exactly what it sounds like. It's the girls having some hands-on experience, and a lot of our badges and journeys, this is kind of built into it. The cooperative learning is where girls use each other and learning from each other in a group setting to really gain the most knowledge and really gain those leadership skills. Now, girl-led is a little different, and it is built into our programming, but it's also something that as troop leaders or the supportive adult really need to help the girls see their potential in leading their own activities or their own troop. So what does it look like? Girls really should shape their experience by asking questions, offering ideas, and using their imagination. They also should put some of their personal preferences in there as well. Now, what it's not is that it is not removing that supportive adult role. So we still want troop leaders to be involved in the process and our caregivers, and we want them there to support and kind of mentor the girls in their experience in Girl Scouts. And it's also not stopping planning activities or troop meetings. I get this question a lot. They say, oh, it's girl-led. Do we just let the girls do what they want, let them explore, let them do things? No, we actually want them involved in that planning process so that they're ready to go. Now, there are tons of resources out there, both through Girl Scouts and also on the internet, and we'll talk about a little of them today and what would be good for each program level. Now, I think the number one question that we get with girl-led is around daisies and brownies. They say, we've got those kindergartners, you just kind of give them the reins and let them go? Of course not, right? That would be absolute chaos, and I'm sure as the girls also experience would not enjoy that either. So how do we get them involved? Well, one thing that I really love is the resource out there is the Badge Explorer. You can find this on the Girl Scouts website, so girlscouts.org, and if you search in there Badge Explorer, it'll pop right up. This is where you can kind of get an overview of all the badges, and of course as an adult you can kind of scroll through and see all these options. But this is what I like to do. You can actually click Create a PDF, and then you can filter for your program level. So say we have daisies, and then you can go through and select the badges. So you just click a check mark, and then it creates this awesome PDF for you. And what's really great about this is both for the planner, the adult planner, and the girl, it shows them the picture of the badge, it says a little bit about what they do and their kind of steps in earning it, and it gives them the name of it. Now for our younger girls, a lot of times they want to look at the badges and say, oh, that's so cute, I want this one, look at this one, it's like a little squirrel on a block with a star. I don't know what it is, but it looks really fun. So what I would do is give this to the girls, kind of like a little catalog for them to go through, and have them work either individually or in a group, and maybe star their top 3 choices. And so they can flip through it. Now this one I only printed a couple pages, but if you do all the daisies, I think it's something like 11 pages worth of badges. So there's a lot of choices for them. Then, after they get all their choices, there's a cute activity that I've done before with planning with girls. And this is a mini version. You'd obviously make this probably on a poster board or something big, is you do your planning like a house. And so what you would do is then as the leader, or if the girls are able to write, they could write their top 3 choices on a Post-it. And so you build this house to have rooms in it. And each room is for the month that you guys are meeting. So this one I have that we're going August through April. And then you always want to have an attic space. And so for this one we did summer. But if your troop meets as normal meetings all year round, then you could have this as like extra fun activities if you have time. And so then you take all those Post-its from the girls, obviously removing the duplicates, and have the girls start to think about, okay, where could we put these? I like the idea of the Post-it, because then you could say, let's do Coding for Good at a different one. Let's maybe do that in December. Now for daisies and brownies, this gives them a nice overview of what they're doing, gets them involved, gets their opinions. And for juniors, who could maybe start leading some of the activities or helping with more of that actual facilitation of the badges or the activities, you could then write in here that, all right, Emily's going to take October and she's going to think of an activity for Juliet Gordon-Lowe's birthday or Founders Day. So super simple, and this is something that you could then maybe take a picture of, share on your Facebook group that you have for your troop or your band site, however you communicate with your parents, so they can kind of get a little overview of how you involve the girls in planning, and then also maybe what the responsibilities of the girls, throughout the whole year, what it kind of looks like. So this is just a really simple way for our younger girls to get them involved. Now, of course, with Girl-Led also, there's always that how do we assign responsibilities or how do they make these choices? One thing, which is a lot of you probably know about, are those caper charts. If you have never heard of a caper chart, it's a K-A-P-E-R and then chart. And I would just put it into Google and you would get 1,000 different ideas. If you take your child a lot of times to school in the classroom setting, they'll have caper charts out for the line leader of the day, or who's going to pick up snack, or maybe who's going to wipe down the tables. And you can do the same thing for your troop environment. So you could have the girls not only for who's going to lead what activities, but maybe like who's going to help get the markers ready, who's going to maybe like lead the line of the girls outside to go to the park to play. So really those caper charts are great. I even use them with older girls when we take them and we do like a camping trip. When we have to clean up at the end, I list everything that I would do to clean out the cabin and I send it to the girls. Great tip for those adults, because then I just sit back and watch them do all of it and make sure that they're getting it all done. So it really helps me as well as giving those girls that responsibility and leadership. I would also say too that there's tons of different ways to do voting. We said here, that they could circle on there or star their top 3. There's cute ideas where you could even give the girls, write down all the activities on the wall and have little stickers that the girls can put their stickers to vote, or using extra materials, like if you have a bunch of buttons in your house or beads, the girls can always vote with beads and you count how many it is, so it's a little bit more anonymous if you've got those shy girls that don't want to share their opinion. So that's another way. Now moving on to our cadet seniors and ambassadors. These girls want that. They want to take on the planning. And as a leader, hopefully, as you've had them with daisies, brownies, and juniors, you've given them some of that responsibility so they kind of have a feel of what it's like and can kind of take this more on. So really, I would let them lead the planning process and also run the meetings. This way, girls are able to not only put in their personal input of like their ideas, but also then they can talk about their schedules and have that buy-in. We know when girls get older, when they get into middle school, there's so many more activities. There's clubs at school, there's sports, there's lots of academic things that they can do. And so if they're able to be in that planning, then you're going to make sure the girls are invested in the activities, and the girls then can also come to all those meetings. If I were to sit back and to plan everything for my older girls, then they would say, oh, we've got SAT testing this day, or I've got decathlon, or whatever it is, that maybe things that I don't know their full details of their schedule. But getting them involved is a way to make sure that you do have their full plans of their schedule. I would also say, too, at this age, is that it's okay to give them access to the volunteer toolkit. Give them your login, sit down with them. As long as they're 13 or older, they can be on there on their own. If not, you want to sit there with them and kind of walk it through. But you can sit down and plan out the year. Use this really awesome toolkit that we have with all the materials in there. This year there's a lot of materials for our cadet seniors and ambassadors for our new badges and our new journey that's in there now for them to be able to explore. And I can kind of give an idea of how to do some more planning, another tool to use. Lastly, I would say for the cadet seniors and ambassadors, make sure that you're kind of talking to them like what are their personal and career goals. A lot of our badge work that we have, and a lot of activities we have in Girl Scout, even our events, are connected to some sort of personal or career goal. So if you can connect it to something that they're maybe aspiring to in the future, or maybe wanting to go to school for, or just really interested in, then they can see that benefit of Girl Scouts and then really have that investment in it. Now, this is another type of planner that this was something that I created for a girl training, but this is something that I would use with our older girls. It's maybe a little too hard, a little too complex for the younger girls. It's pretty simple, just has all the months down there, has some annual Girl Scout activities. So once you have older girls, there are those things like fall product program, cookies, things like that. But you could also put, like if you know your service unit always does a carnival, you could put that in there and make sure that you guys are keeping that in tune. And then they can list on some possible troop activities. And then they can also put who's going to take the lead on each one of those activities. So again, taking that ownership to the activities and saying, I'm going to take lead, I'm going to do this, and this is their personal responsibility. As a leader, you can always check back in with the girls. So I know some leaders that have these older girl troops that really run everything, is that they'll maybe have like a phone call or sometimes just text with them a couple days before the meeting and say, hey, are you on track for your meeting? Do you need anything for me? Do you need me to print anything? You know, whatever it is to try to help them out. Usually with these older girls, if they have cell phones, text is better, but you can always schedule a phone call with them to chat with them to make sure that they are feeling comfortable. And then also for our leader type that want a little bit more control, they can then feel, okay, it's going to be ready, everything will be set, I'm happy. Quick question, they're saying, is the year planner available for troops to use? It is branded, so I can give it to our team and get that up on the website under resources, and we can do that later today. I'll just call it a Girl Scout year planner, and so you guys can find it under forms and resources. Awesome. And then, what was I going to say? Oh, so the last thing to just keep in mind is that, you know, we recognize that a lot of times our leaders or our caregivers are type A, right? You get into this leadership role, you're ready to, I'm going to do this, I'm a planner, I'm going to get everything going, and I'm that type of person as well. It's really hard for me to let go and let someone else take the reins. But what I would say is that this is really key in the girls gaining leadership skills. If you were to continue to do and run your troop where you're planning everything, you're actually teaching the girls to follow. You're not teaching them to lead. So keep that in mind when you're kind of struggling with this a little bit, that you really want to make sure that those girls can show their leadership skills and practice it in a safe environment that Girl Scouts is. And that'll help them in their future careers and their lives. Also, this is just proven, not just in Girl Scouts, but anything, and you know, any activities they're doing, that the more that the girls can put in their input and their personal preferences or style, the more invested they are. And the more that they're going to actually want to participate in the activities, they're going to show up for the meetings, they're going to be excited about it, and they're going to get that better experience. We can say that sometimes when we get our surveys back, really if a girl said that she's going to leave the troop is really not because of schedules. It's actually usually because she says the troop's not doing what I want to do. And so thinking about that, if we do it girl-led, she is getting her input. And so hopefully the troop can do what the girl wants to do. Now, if you were really interested in this little tidbits that we had for you, we actually have our leadership summits coming up. The first one is this weekend in Colorado Springs, and there is actually a full course on girl-led that will lead you through all sorts of more activities that you can do and ways and processes to make sure that your troop is really girl-led and the girls are leading that experience. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at inquiry@girlscoutsofcolorado or at gscolorado.org. Again, it's inquiry@gscolorado.org, or you can go on Girl Scouts of Colorado website and click Contact Us. And we will see you next month to talk. Yeah? Maybe we'll talk.
So.
We'll hopefully be talking about our new online learning platform for our adult leaders that will hopefully come out next month. Fingers crossed.
Crossed.
Thanks, guys.